Assalamu alaikum. I am Tayyiba Kabir Richi, currently studying computer science and engineering at Shahjalal University of Science and Technology. Hello everyone and welcome to this video on demand in economics, one of the most fundamental concepts in understanding how markets work. Whether you are a student, an entrepreneur, or just someone curious about economics, this video will break down the essentials of demand, why it matters and how it affects our daily lives. Now, let's get started. First of all, we will discuss about the definition of demand, the willingness and ability of buyers to purchase quantities of a good at different prices during a specific time period. Demand is a principle of economics that captures the consumer's desire to buy the product or service. Now, we'll discuss about the law of demand. We can define quantity demand as QD, which is a function of price of related products, populations, etc. Now we can say QD is equal to F of P, where other variables are ceteris paribus. So we can say that quantity demanded is a function of price, that is QD is equal to A minus PP, where QD is quantity demanded, A is intercept, B is slope, and P is price. Suppose we are given an equation and a data set where the equation is QD is equal to 8 minus P. We are given the value of P and we are about to find out the values of QD. When P is 0, if we put down the value of P into the equation QD is equal to 8 minus P, then we will get the value of QD is 8 minus 0 is equal to 8. When P is equal to 1, then QD will be 8 minus 1 is equal to 7. When P is equal to 2, then our QD will be 8 minus 2 is equal to 6. When P is equal to 3, QD will be 5, and when P is equal to 4, QD will be 4. Now we can graphically represent this data as below the graph, as seen in the graph, where Q1 is quantity demanded 1, and P1 is the price 1. P2 is the second price and Q2 is second quantity demanded. After the entire discussion, we can now define demand as the willingness and ability of buyers to purchase quantities of a good at different prices during a specific time period. Demand is a principle of economics that captures the consumer's desire to buy the product or service. We are just defining the demand after all the data and all the graphical representations. Okay, now we'll talk about determinants of demand. Quantity demanded is a function of price, but price is not the only factor that affects the quantity demanded. There are some other determinants which affect it. Some of the factors that affect the demand of a quantity is mentioned below. Price of the related products. There are two types of related goods, which are substitutes and complements. If two goods are complementary, an increase in the cost of one commodity will decrease the demand for a complementary product. So we can write it as when P increases, demand decreases. That means P is reciprocal to demand. On the other hand, when two goods are substitute, an increase in the cost of one good will also increase the demand of the another one. Now think about coffee and tea. When the price of coffee increases, the demand of tea will increase, vice versa. Like if the price of tea increases, the demand of coffee will increase. That's like that. It works like that. Okay. Now we'll talk about income. As a person's income changes, the individual's demand for a particular good may change. Normally, if income rises, quantity demand rises. If income falls, quantity demanded also falls. That means we can say when our income increases, quantity demand also increases. When our income decreases, quantity demand is also decreases. Okay, third option is population. If the population of a certain community of consumers increases that may or may not have the same preferences, then overall the demand of a community or product increases. That means when our population increases, quantity demand also increases, and when population decreases, quantity demand is also decreases. Taste or preference of the consumer. Consumer preference is a concept that refers to the choices consumers make to maximize their satisfaction. Consumers have some degree of control over the type of goods they buy, but they cannot always choose what they want. Example, if a new health study comes out saying that a certain food product is bad for your health, then it might decrease the demand of that product. Seasonal effect. Changes in seasons around a year have a direct impact on the demand of any product that is relevant to those changes. For example, demand for umbrellas or raincoats during the summer season is far less than during the rainy season, while pullovers and sweaters are much more popular during the winter seasons. So we can say that quantity demanded is a multivariable function where the variables are the determinants of demand. So quantity demanded will be the function of price, related products, taste or preferences, population, income, and seasons. Okay, when the price increases, we have seen that the demand decreases. That's why we have put here a negative sign where I have written that where plus denotes positive correlation, minus denotes negative correlation, and plus or minus denotes both positive and negative correlation. Change in demand versus change in quantity demanded. Change in quantity demanded. A change in quantity demanded refers to a change in the specific quantity of a product that buyers are willing and able to buy. This change in quantity demanded is caused by a change in the price. Therefore, the function can be expressed as QD is equal to function of P. Now we will discuss about this graph. Here, P1 is price 1, P2 is price 2, Q1 is quantity demanded 1, and Q2 is quantity demanded 2. We can see price is dropped as P1 from P2, and quantity demand is increased. So we can say an initial price P1 and its corresponding quantity demanded is plotted in Q1, the graph of P versus QD. If a new price is plotted and its P2 corresponding price Q2 is found, the overall change in the quantity demanded demonstrates a movement along the demand curve, which is from A to B. Changes in demand. A change in demand denotes a change in the demand of a good that is caused by a variety of direct and indirect factors. Let us once again express Q as a function of price, while other y factors would remain constant. Therefore, the function can be expressed as QD is equal to function of y. So, in this graph, we can say change in the demand from an initial point Q1 to a final point Q2 is actually a shift in the entire demand curve. A positive change is reflected by a forward shift of the curve to the right. A negative change reflects a backward shift to the right. In our graph, it is a positive change of demand.